Hello and welcome back to another episode of Handloader TV. I'm your host, Jeremiah. And in this episode, we're going to take a look at a beautiful custom-built 1911 and the cartridge it's chambered in, the 45 ACP, or better known as a 45 Auto. The handgun itself was designed by John Moses Browning, as was the 45 ACP or Auto cartridge. And it really needs no introduction or history. It's very popular. It's been around for a very long time. It has a long-standing military service record. It served in World War I, World War II, Korea, and all the way up to Vietnam, and even further in some more specialized applications and units within the United States military. It is a wonderful cartridge. It's a personal favorite of mine, and it's a cartridge that I have carried for a very long time on my person for personal protection and use around the ranch and things of that nature. So it's a great cartridge. We're going to have a lot of fun taking a look at it. And since this is a custom gun, I thought what more appropriate than to make some custom loaded ammunition for this fine piece. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and take a closer look at this unique 1911 that we have before us. So this particular handgun is actually going to be featured in Rifle Magazine's 2024 special edition on handguns. So if you want to learn more about it and get into the nitty-gritty details of this handgun, I'd highly encourage you guys to pick up a copy of that at your Barnes & Noble or local magazine retailer and read the article that goes along with this particular handgun. There's going to be more details in there than we can fit into this video simply for time constraints. But without further delay, let's go ahead and take a look at this interesting and unique 1911. With there being so many 1911s out there, it's one of the most popular handguns in the United States. It's really hard to get something that's truly unique. But that's exactly the word I would use to describe this particular handgun. It's actually a collaboration between two master gunsmiths, Dave Fink of Fink's Custom Gunsmithing and Bobby Tyler of Tyler Gun Works. They came together and built this 1911 together from the ground up. Dave Fink did a lot of the slide work and machining on the frame and just kind of doing some fitting there, making sure the beaver tail fits really nice, things of that nature, and installing several of his packages onto this 1911, such as his full D-horn package, his trigger job, his slide ball cuts, front and rear cocking serrations, as you can see there on the slide, and just going through it top to bottom, making sure that everything worked and was 100% reliable. Then Bobby Tyler of Tyler Gun Works went ahead and did the finish work on here with his master color case hardening, which turned out beautifully. The gun has very deep blues, browns, golds, and blacks blended into the frame and slide there. It shows very unique characteristics and different lights, and it's just a very, very attractive finish, something that I personally love and really helps set this 1911 apart from others. Tyler Gun Works also did these Hollywood grips on here, which give it a very classic and sleek look to it. Also a very nice sleek feel in the hand as well. It does very well, and these Hollywood grips are actually about the closest thing you can get to these days to ivory. They will actually yellow with age and kind of get that ivory looking patina to them. The only thing you have to be careful of with these grips is if you store the gun prolonged in a cheaper lower end gun rug or soft case, the grips can actually absorb the dye from those gun rugs, so you have to be a little bit careful there. But other than that, they are phenomenal. They work very well. They feel great in the hand. And you can actually buy these grips from Bobby Tyler off his website. And what's neat about that is the grips pictured on his website is the exact set that you're going to get. So you can look at them all and really pick and choose which set of grips you want for your firearm. And he does them for 1911s, Colt Pythons, and a variety of other firearms. Now taking an even closer look at this 1911, on the mainspring housing here we have some checkering, and then on the front strap we have some grooves cut into it just to help with your overall recoil control and fit and feel of the handgun in your hand. Then we have a low ride safety here. I'll go ahead and pull this guy back. We are clear. It's been checked multiple times. We have a low ride safety, which is very nice. Very positive engagement there. Absolutely excellent fit and finish on the beaver tail back here, which is one of the first things I look at when I'm examining a custom-built 1911. And then the trigger is absolutely phenomenal. The brake is wonderful and measured on an average of 5 pulls on our Wheeler Engineering trigger pull gauge. The trigger broke very clean and very crisp at 2 pounds 11 ounces, and the reset is absolutely phenomenal. Very light, very good, and very crisp reset. Feels fantastic. So then also on this particular 1911, we have a custom serial number on there, some custom engraving. It says "In God We Trust" here, the Finks Custom Gunsmithing logo with the Arizona flag. And then on the other side, we have another American flag, and it says "Beautiful Smiths 1911 Edition," which is a little bit of an inside joke with the gunsmiths there that made this beautiful handgun. So overall, it's proven to be very reliable. I've shot this at gunsight. I put about 250 rounds through it in a single day without any issues or malfunctions there, and it just simply ran very, very well. Overall, I've been extremely impressed with the performance, and I've shot a lot of factory ammunition through it, but with such a nice custom gun, I thought it would be fitting to develop some custom ammunition for it. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the hand loading side of things and walk you through exactly what I did to develop loads for this 1911. Real quick, before we dive into the hand loading, one thing I almost forgot to mention was a very nice set of GI blackened sights here on the 1911. They co-witness perfectly with this Holosun 407K green reticle 6 MOA optic. And real estate's pretty sparse on a 1911, so it's really nice to be able to have co-witness sights on there. And in order to do that, we have these GI style sights, which are a little bit smaller, and we can place them in front of the optic to create a really nice co-witness. So I just wanted to mention that before I forgot. And now we'll go ahead and take a look at the hand loading side of things, starting out with what we're using to develop these loads. We have a Redding T7 turret press here, which is the press and equipment that I use to assemble these loads. There's a Creedmoor Sports enhanced turret press head installed on there with the upgrade kit. And then for our dies up here on top, we selected Redding Next Gen reloading dies. They are a carbide die, so no lubrication is required when you're resizing your cases, which is really nice. And then we selected for all of our brass needs, Starline cases. They're of exceptional quality and a personal favorite of mine, and they were brand new unfired cases. For demonstration purposes, I will be using once fired cases, but this is strictly for the demonstration. We actually used brand new unfired Starline cases to work up all of our loads. Then we have some excellent bullets here that we're going to put to the test, along with some high quality powders as well. So rather than show you step by step how to hand load, I'm just going to really quick kind of talk you through what we did to develop these loads. So with the new unfired Starline cases, we went ahead and ran them up into our full length sizing die. The die was screwed down to contact the shell holder, and we went ahead and sized our cases. Then from there, we went ahead and jumped over to our Redding Next Gen number 11 expander die, when we'd run the case up into that guy, working in batches, of course. And then once there was just a little bit of flare applied to the case mouth, just enough to properly seat a bullet without shaving any of that jacket off, from there we went ahead and primed our cases. For that, I used a Frankfurt Arsenal hand primer unit, I believe, if memory serves me correctly, and seated them to about 3/1000ths of an inch below flush. Then it was time to go ahead and charge our cases. For that, I used a Creedmoor Sports TRX 925 precision reloading scale. It's a phenomenal scale, and honestly, it's probably a little bit overkill for reloading 45 auto cases, but that's what I went ahead and used, and all charge weights were accurate to 4/100ths of a grain. To dispense our powder before trickling up to proper charge weight, I used a Redding 10X powder measure, which worked very well, getting me very close to proper charge weight and required a minimal amount of trickling. Then, once our case was primed and charged, we went ahead and jumped on over to the Redding Next Gen seating die here, and we seated a bullet without applying a crimp. And that's kind of an important note. If you're seeking the best accuracy, it's highly advisable to crimp as a separate step. So we went ahead and seated all the bullets for all the loads, Then we backed out the seating stem, threaded the die body down further, and we went ahead and applied a taper crimp to the 45 auto case. Now this crimp can actually be measured with a set of blade micrometers or a set of calipers as well. And that crimp should measure out to about 470 thousandths of an inch, or 0.470 inches. So with that, we were ready to put our hand loads to the test. I've already preloaded my ammunition for this test and for the article as well. So we're going to go ahead and hit the range. I've got the Ransom Master Series rest set up, ready to go. But one quick note before we hit the range: all of the loads that we're going to be showcasing in this video are going to be the best of a given powder and bullet combination, because we don't have time to show you the entire load development. If you want more information, I would highly encourage you guys to check out the 2024 Rifle Magazine Special Edition on handguns. It's going to have the complete load table in there. And then also you can head on over to our sister website, loaddata.com, where you can sign in or just go ahead and type in Handloader TV, look for the 45 auto loads that we did in this video. And then you'll be able to see what powders we use, what bullets we use, what our overall length was, even what the group size was, so you can get an idea of the accuracy. The only thing you won't be able to see is the powder charge. We reserve that for subscribers. It's the world's largest online reloading manual. You'll get tons of information if you choose to subscribe, and it's also a great way to support the channel here. But you'll be able to see all that other information completely free of charge, if so desired. So without further delay, let's hit the range with this beautiful gun and see what it can do.
Many factors affect rifle accuracy. The one most overlooked is your gun stock. Today's synthetic stocks are hollow and flexible and not very stable. You don't get this flex from a Boyd's hardwood gun stock, which is more rigid and stable. High-speed footage also shows the flex and barrel movement you get with the plastic stock. This excess movement will affect your accuracy. Want to shoot better? Put a Boyd's hardwood gun stock on your gun.
So we're out on the range and we have the Ransom International Master Series handgun rest with our beautiful 1911 locked down inside of it. The knobs are just snug, just finger tight there. And we also have a protractor on the Ransom rest there to measure an angular measurement from load to load, and that'll give us a rough reference for how much recoil a particular load has. We have the target downrange at 15 yards, which is where we start testing all of our handguns. In the future, I'd love to push it out to 25, 50, 75 yards, so if that's something you guys are interested in, be sure and leave a comment below. We've had a couple people request it over the years, but not as many as I would have thought. Last but not least, here we have the Garmin chronograph set up right underneath the muzzle there, pointed downrange, to record all of our velocities and calculate extreme spreads, standard deviations, and all those good things. And for our weather report, we have the Kestrel 5700. The temperature is 95 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity is 17.4%. And barometric pressure is 30.30 in Hg, and the altitude is 5,000 feet. We have a slight breeze that's more of a gusting breeze. It's not much. It's blowing from about the 6 o'clock position at about 3 to 7 miles per hour. So there you have it. Let's go ahead and load this gun up, and we'll start out with testing hand loads, and then we'll go to factory ammunition for the end of this test. So this first load, we're using Shooter's World Clean Shot Powder, a 5.1 grain charge with a 230 grain Hornady full metal jacket, Starling cases, Federal 150 primers, and our overall loaded length is 1.245 inches. If I rattled that off too quick for you, fear not, there will be a review of the targets and the load data at the end of this video. But for now, let's get to shooting. That ransom rest makes it real easy for testing purposes. All right, same range, same day. New load here. We're using CFE pistol, a 6.0 grain charge with a 230 grain Spear gold dot bullet, Starline cases, Federal 150 primers, and our overall loaded length is 1.200 inches. Ransom rest is good to go. Shoot them and group them. And there we have it. All right, we've gone ahead and swapped over to one of my favorite powders in the 45 auto. This is Vitavori N340, the 6.8 grain charge with the 200 grain Hornady XTP, Starline cases, Federal 150 primers, and our overall loaded length is 1.240 inches. Put it to the test. Five shots just like that. Pretty minimal recoil on that load. And a pleasant velocity on that last shot of 937 for an average of 949. This load is using Alliant Bullseye powder, a 5.4 grain charge with a 185 grain Berry's hollow base round nose bullet, Federal 150 primers, Starline cases, and the projectile's 185 grains in weight. The overall loaded length is 1.250 inches. Just shoot them and group them. Five rounds, slide lock to the rear, all looks good. All right, so we've graduated over to the factory ammunition side of this test. We're shooting a Winchester white box full metal jacket target ammunition in their value pack here. Let's go ahead and put it on the paper. There's our 5 shots. Decent amount of recoil with the 230 grain target load, but it would be very good for practicing, especially for self-defense type situations. This would be good for your practice ammunition. So we're back from the range after testing a bunch of different loads, and we've got some really good results to go over. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first factory load that we tested, and truly the only factory load we're going to be showcasing in this video. It was using Winchester target or white box ammunition, a 230 grain full metal jacket, and we got an extreme spread of 37, standard deviation of 13, average velocity of 871, and a group size of 1.08. That's actually one of the best group sizes I've gotten with this particular ammunition, and I think it's kind of a testament to the overall fit and quality of this particular 1911. It shot everything very, very well. So then we're going to go ahead and jump on over to our hand loads that we put to the test now, starting out with Shooter's World Clean Shot Powder, personal favorite of mine, with a 230 grain Hornady full metal jacket. This would make a great practice target load, something like that. We got an extreme spread of just 21 feet per second, average velocity of 821 feet per second, and a standard deviation of 7.2. So really, really good results there. Overall, I'm extremely impressed with those results. That group is phenomenal, and to be honest with you, in transporting that target from the range to our office here where we're filming now, and then getting it scanned and all that, the paper might have kind of ripped a little bit, so in measuring, it might have been even a little bit smaller starting out. But overall, a fantastic load, and this load actually also printed to the same point of impact as this next load that we're going to take a look at using Hodgdon CFE powder, a 6 grain charge with a 230 grain Spear gold dot bullet. We got an extreme spread of just 7.7, average velocity of 835, standard deviation of 3, and our group size was just 0.72 inches. So what's really neat here about this load and the load we tested previously is that we have a target load that shoots to the same point of impact as a good self-defense load there. I really like that, so it allowed me to train cheaply with full metal jacket bullets, but then I can simply swap right over to my carry ammo, and I can carry that and be confident that it's going to hit the exact same point of impact as my practice ammunition. You only get that benefit if you hand load. I have yet to encounter a factory target load and a factory carry load that does the same thing. Not saying it's not out there, but it's very rare. So it's very cool to be able to create custom ammunition that is truly tailored for the firearm you're shooting. Anyways, the next load that we went ahead and put to the test is using Alliant Bullseye powder, a 5.4 grain charge, great powder in the 45 auto, and another cheap, relatively cheap bullet here, very economical. This is a Berry's hollow base round nose, 185 grain bullet, standard deviation of 20, average velocity of 873 feet per second, standard deviation of 7.5, at a group size of 0.94 inches. So nothing to sneeze at, and another very economical load there, and just highlighting the benefits of being able to hand load for your guns. The final load that we put to the test here is Vitavori N340, a 6.8 grain charge, and we got an extreme spread of 30 feet per second, average velocity of 949 feet per second, and a standard deviation of 10, and that grouped into just 0.98 inches. So as a whole, this 1911 shot really, really well, and I may have incorrectly stated, but the distance we shot this 1911 at was 20 yards, so a little bit further than what we normally shoot, and it really performed quite well. A lot of sub 1 inch groups with this 1911 once we found a good load for it, and I have no doubt it's capable of even better accuracy if I were to continue to tinker on and develop even more loads with the powders and bullets that it likes. So overall, there you have it. There's the loads that we put to the test in this video. Again, if you want to see everything, every load we tested, you can check out the article in Rifle Magazine's 2024 Special Edition or loaddata.com. We'll go ahead and close out with some final thoughts on this pistol and just an overall review of the gun through my eyes and the shooter's perspective. So as always, I like to say we've showcased the results for you, and now you can make an educated decision for yourself. If you would like something like this, you have the gunsmiths' names, and you can look up their work. Their reputations are phenomenal, and they're known for high quality, outstanding firearms, which is what I personally believe this to be. Whether that fits your budget or your needs is entirely up to you. We just like to showcase the facts. This is how the handgun performed. This is how the loads performed. This is what we experienced. But now I want to close out on a few personal thoughts just that I have in shooting this handgun. It feels very nice in the hand, very comfortable. These days we're so used to things with aggressive textures and stuff like that. It was actually very pleasant to shoot something that's relatively smooth-sided, and I didn't feel like it hampered my follow-up shots or my split times horribly or anything like that. It was just overall a very pleasant gun to shoot, and it took to the load development very well. It was very easy to work up loads for it. It didn't take as many as I normally do to get above average results with it. So very pleased with it as a whole. It's proven to be accurate, reliable, and in training and spending time with it at gun site and stuff like that, no issues were encountered, and it was a lot of fun to get to run through and clear houses with it and shoot on their many different ranges that they have, and even stretch its legs out to about 100 yards shooting at steel and things of that nature. Very pleased with the overall performance. One quick side note that I do want to mention, it is a beautiful finish on this guy, and it almost seems like it would be a travesty to put this in a Kydex holster just because the finish is so nice. So when you do get, should you get, a very nice custom 1911, I would highly, highly recommend a good, high-quality leather holster, such as this one here from Simply Rugged Holsters. This is actually one that I will use to everyday carry this handgun, so to speak. I don't carry it every day, obviously. It's too nice for that, but I do like to use the guns that I have, and this is a beautiful 1911 that I do carry from time to time. So having a good, reliable leather holster that will protect the finish is something that's definitely worth looking into. And I'm a big fan of these Simply Rugged holsters, been using them a long time and run them a lot at gun site. So there you have it. There's the ins and outs on this custom gun and custom ammunition. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked what you saw, please let us know, give us a thumbs up, leave us a comment below. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button along with the bell icon so you're notified when we post our next video. We have a lot of stuff in the works, a lot more load development, some stuff on the 6mm dasher coming up, so you don't want to miss out. Be sure to subscribe. And as always, if you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave those in the comment section below. I do read every single comment still. It's getting a little challenging to respond to each and every one of them, but I'm still doing my best to do so. But there's plenty of other people in there that will jump in and help you if you do have a question. So I'd encourage you guys to check it out. Thank you so much, and I will catch you in the next episode.